And we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of This Week in Real Estate. This is episode 281. Wow, that's a long time. Thanks everybody for joining us. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, just about everywhere you can go live. And of course, we're also live on LinkedIn. We did get that link fixed. So thanks for joining us from wherever in the world you are. My YouTube stand keeps rolling as I am recording this. All right, so this is This Week in Real Estate, recorded live Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. High on your home supply. I hope you guys get that joke. I love the thumbnail for today. I'll show it during the show if you didn't see it. But thanks everybody for joining us. We've got a ton of news stories to cover and a pretty short time frame to do it. So I'm going to really try to finish in about an hour today. We have a lot of industry tea this week. I think it was last week or the week before. We hardly had any. And someone just sent me, Rebecca just sent me an idea for an industry tea sounder. So maybe next week we can get that mixed up for us. But thanks everyone for joining. If you are joining live, you can comment and then I can display your comment. Just like Patrick Ellis Home Inspections did. What's up, man? He said Batman voice. I'm first. That's the best Batman voice I got, maybe. I'm first. And then Elizabeth. What's up? Elizabeth Nightingale's joining us from Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah, put in the comments where you're from. We've actually had a few referrals change hands through the show. So be sure you put where you're from in the comments. I had a lot of people that text me today that said, I would love to join today, but I'm on vacation. And I don't know if you guys know this, but this does also release in audio form later. So you could just download the audio form. Let's see, Kelly Bob Bayer. Howdy, Ray. Keep bringing the corny jokes. I mean, I can't help it, man. Hector. What's up, Hector? He's joined us from Miami over on Instagram. So on Instagram, I can't display your comment. I'll just have to read it. But thanks everybody for joining us. All right, so without further ado, this is where I would play the industry tea sounder. So, but I don't have it yet. So we've got more news about our. Now the weird thing with is, oh, whoops, hang on. There's an ad playing on one of these. Let me mute. Good grief. All right, muted a site. Now, REcolorado, we learned last week they had fired their board. There was a sale that they announced, and maybe the PR didn't do a great job of announcing the sale. Maybe it could have been better in how they went about it. But it is what it is today. But REcolorado unveiled the buyer officially. And the buyer is not, I think last week we said it was like Jay Burks, and they gave us way more details on exactly who Jay Burks was. And there's some comments from Colorado agents on the Instagram. So if you haven't seen that, it's pretty, or on the Facebook that we'll get into. So REcolorado buyer unveiled as questions and legal fights persist. The owners of a multiple listing service, REcolorado, on Monday revealed new details about the MLS's would-be buyer, even as controversy persists, and an outspoken critic of the sale now faces a threat of legal action. Dun, dun, dun. So we'll get into exactly what this outspoken critic said as well. My dog apparently is whining, so I may have to go let him out in just a second. However, on Monday, all right, so well, I think we've already covered this part where it was released as Jay Burke. So that's what we talked about last week. Today they gave us, or Monday, they gave us more information that it's Joseph E. Burks, who is the president of Equity Title of Colorado and an affiliate member of SMDRA, which is one of the groups. Isn't that one of the groups that's merging and all that? Yeah. So Joseph E. Burke's intention is to support Colorado realtors and licensees, ensuring that REcolorado remains a cornerstone of our real estate community with even broader offering services and technological advancements. I guess everyone had an issue with this because it was announced that they were considering this merger without even taking other bids, which some pointed out in the Facebook comments was a bit hypocritical when they say, hey, you have to put a home that you have listed on the market because if you try to sell it privately, it's going to go for a lower amount. I mean, that's a fair point. Homes by Kirkpatrick in Palo Alto, California. Thanks for joining over on Instagram. Let's see. In a conversation with Inman Monday. Oh, so the Karen Frizone is the person that received notice on July 3rd. A letter demanded that she take down her Facebook post and issue a public retraction and preserve evidence of communications she had with, quote, third parties who had information about the sale. The letter claims that Frizone's own public comments were false and defamatory. Joel Griffin, realtor, St. George, Utah. Oh, we got people from everywhere joining the show. So in a conversation with Inman Monday, Frizone said, I really don't see the point in me taking down anything, haven't broken any laws. I'm going to show you guys exactly what she said, that I think this is what they were talking about. But the timeline doesn't quite line up because it says July 3rd, a lawyer representing two associations sent them a 3-page cease and desist. And when I went back and looked at the post, it seems like those comments were made, it says like 1 week ago, so it's kind of a vague timeline. But it seems like those comments were made about the time that she would have received this letter. So maybe it was like sent the same day or something. It's pretty impressive. But we'll talk. I'm not sure exactly which comments we're talking about, but there was also a article on RIS Media that came out, and when that article came out, it quoted her, and then she posted on social media that they took some things that she said out of context. So, but I'll show you exactly what she said. All right. So the next part of this, the question, they also go into some of these comments that I'll show you and REcolораdo's response to them. With each development, news of the sale, the board's ouster, and the revelation of the buyer's identity, DMAR and SMDRA have faced criticism, often online, for not providing more information. The two associations, however, said that they are legally limited in the information they can share by non-disclosure and confidentiality agreements. Monday's statement reiterated that point, but acknowledged criticisms. We understand that the initial lack of communication about the pending sale of REcolorado, Mazel, and Joseph E. Banks Burke specifically has Joseph E. Burks, not Joseph E. Banks, has specifically perceived secrecy has been an ongoing source of frustration this past week. We apologize for the limited communications. We're committed to transparency and trust. Your data remains secure and protected. And it says, be sure that Mazel LLC is committed to honoring the REcolorado data and privacy policies. Okay. So a lot of people want to put the brakes on the sale. Some are saying that they ignored a bid from realtors who wanted to buy it from REcolorado. But let me go to some of these comments so you can see exactly what's happening, because that was my big question. I sent this to a couple of my Colorado real estate friends. And it was funny because all of them said, you know more about this than I do. They basically said, we're not hearing anything about all of this locally. Well, apparently the place that you have to hear about this is on Facebook. So if you go to the Denver Metro Association of Realtors, let me make sure I'm displaying that for you guys so that you can see. Yeah. All right. So when you go to their Facebook page, there's a couple of posts on there that have a lot of comments. Here's one from the Karen Frizone. And I think this might be what she got the cease and desist for, but I'm not totally sure. There's a couple of them. She says, this is Rich. Pay no attention to the people behind the curtains. Nothing to seem here. Nothing screams hypocrisy like our trade association selling our largest asset in secret to a mystery entity formed for the sole purpose and not on the open market. DMAR leadership should not be making public statements on the MLS sale without their real names. Firing an entire board leaves asset further exposed. So this was, that was just a week ago. So that's why I'm saying the timeline doesn't quite match up, and I can't figure out exactly which comment that they're sending this for, but they mentioned third parties, and she mentions that in a comment later. So this lady comes out against it. There's another lady in the comments that comes out against it. This is real estate drama at its finest. Let's see. Is that the one? All right. So this one has a lot more comments. I think this is what they were talking. No, that's 2 hours ago. Let's see. Hang on. Let me find it. She said, she mentions these third parties. And she says, you'll be shocked at who the buyer is. I know from these third parties. Let me find, just give me a second here. I mean, this, ironically, the two ladies that are against it are both named Karen, which is funny because it kind of plays into the whole meme. All right, I can't find it. But basically, she says, I have it on good authority from third parties that you'll be shocked who the buyer is. And now that the buyer's been revealed, I don't know that it's so shocking, but she does mention that there are some relationships between the people who own DMAR and SMAR, right, or whatever it is right now, and the guy that's buying it. That it's not a transaction at it's not an arm's length transaction. So that seems to be the most frustrating thing about it for most people. And everyone's wondering, like, where our data is the most valuable thing, and you've sold it. This is the main reason why I wanted to talk about this. Is I don't know that it's such a big deal as the news outlets and real estate media are making it seem. It seems like most real estate agents that I've talked to, and you guys can correct me because I'm getting DMs from y'all saying that this is not a big deal. So this is what I'm telling the audience, is that the realtors who are there are saying this is not that big of a deal. Apparently the guy wants to keep it as a nice functioning MLS. He wants to, honor the realtor code type of thing and support real estate agents. So as long as he's doing that, it seems like he's doing exactly what the other group has been doing. Some are wondering why the sale is not the open market, wondering if they could get more money for it. That's fine. I think that's a valid complaint, and maybe they can open it up to other bids for a little while or something. But other than that, it seems like most people are like, well, as long as it's still a functioning MLS, okay. The ones who seem to be really against it are the ones in the comments of their Facebook page. And I'm not sure if there's any actual legal action happening, but one of the Karens, I'm not saying that, I mean, that's literally two of their names. One of them said that they, again, have it on authority that there are big brokerages that are coming together to try to stop it with a lawsuit, to try to stop the sale with a lawsuit. There are all kinds of real estate agents in the comments that are worried about the NAR lawsuit and how it pertains to this. And the Denver Metro MLS has responded and said that it has nothing to do with any of that. And that just being a member of the MLS doesn't protect them or cover them now. So that's not going to change. All right. So that's the T for the REcolorado. The other, I guess, industry T thing that's happening is CoStar is back in the news significantly in two huge news stories for CoStar. First, they have to be censured for the claims made about the traffic to homes.com ads. So you guys remember all the mailer that we got, and it had this graph that showed the growth in traffic from homes.com. Well, they say that is the homes.com network and not of sites, and not just homes.com. In other words, homes.com is advertising they had 156 million unique visitors, when in reality, in the small print, they only had 110 million. So they have been censured from advertising that. They've also said that they have more than double realtor.com's traffic. And so realtor.com went after them and said, hey, they're not advertising this. What they're advertising is false. And in one part of it, it does make them, NAD recommended that those claims be discontinued because the claims conveyed a message that homes.com attracts 156 million unique monthly unique visitors when the figure was based on a combined total traffic calculated using Google Analytics for 16 other CoStar websites. NAD said in a press release, according to Google Analytics, homes.com itself has 110 million monthly unique visitors. That's still a lot. So basically CoStar is taking this as a win because it's saying, hey, NAD acknowledged that we did have 156 million monthly unique visitors on our CoStar network of websites. and we still had 110, which is, Realtor had 66 million unique visitors. So not quite double. NAD determined the claim is not supported. So the claim was Homes.com now has double Realtor.com's traffic. The claim was not supported and recommended to be discontinued because Homes.com has 110 million monthly visitors, which is not double the 66 million. It's pretty close, though. I mean, it's still pretty close. So CoStar is taking down the ads. They are making that change, but I thought that was a really funny way to interpret this is that, hey, NAD did support our claim of 156 unique visitors across our network, and we're still almost double. Jack, I saw you on mute, man.
Yeah, sounds like more attorneys are making money.
Yeah, it's the.
Really?
I mean, pardon my French. It's the pissy match, right? I think. Yeah. I feel like Realtor.com would have been better served, probably using the money to go after. Maybe to go get more unique visitors. CoStar came out and said, hey, this lawsuit is a reflection of Realtor.com's own problems and the problems with their company, and they're continuing to ignore it. Instead, they're going after competition's advertising, which is not winning. So that was essentially a paraphrase of CoStar's response to Realtor.com. But this, I think maybe they were into this lawsuit because the attorneys were already looking into CoStar for stuff. So Realtor.com parent company accuses CoStar of stealing trade secrets in a lawsuit. So this is interesting. On Tuesday, July 2nd, Move Inc., the parent company for Realtor.com, filed a lawsuit against CoStar Parent Group, CoStar Group, the parent group of Homes.com. The lawsuit says that CoStar unlawfully acquired trade secrets through a former Move employee, escalating a long-standing rivalry between the two. So the filing says there's nothing wrong with lawful, even intense competition, but competitors should never be allowed to cheat and steal to get ahead. Mr. Kaminsky, a former Move employee, is now working for Move's direct competitor, CoStar, systematically invaded Move's secure computer systems, secretly exfiltrating Move's trade secrets, and spied on Move's real-time confidential electronic documents to give CoStar a massive unfair competitive advantage and help CoStar increase traffic to its competing real estate listing website, all to the detriment of Move. So they allege that Kaminsky accessed the Realtor.com information at least 37 times after his departure, violating computer fraud laws. Stolen data reported includes information related to business strategy, employee list and contact information, employee salary information, internal budgeting, industry contact list, third-party collaborations, publication subjects, publishing schedules, and a vast array of completely sensitive and valuable information. So, when your friend's like, oh yeah, man, they let me go like last year and I still have access to the whole computer system. It's crazy. That's monitored. So you might want to tell your friend, like, don't log in, especially if you're at a competing company, because if if you do that, they can see what you're looking at. CoStar's response says Realtor.com's it says the same thing, basically, attempting to divert attention from its business troubles by filing baseless lawsuits. CoStar apparently wants to create a rival news and insights platform for Homes.com, copying the success of the news and insights team of Realtor.com. Mr. Kaminsky led Realtor.com's news and insights group with knowledge of nearly every facet of the business, including strategy, organizational structure, and operational details. So we'll see if that has any legs. But our big portal giants are fighting, which is interesting. I think that's an interesting thing that's happening out there, is that, we don't have brokerages fighting as much. I think maybe all the brokerages feel like they're in the same boat. And it feels like a lot of the portal giants are the ones that are starting to sue each other and go after each other now, that's an interesting twist. Computer just locked up. Hang on. There we go. All right. So we got some news from Real Broker. Full disclosure, this is the brokerage I'm at. So Real Brokerage marks 10th anniversary with major milestone. So this was yesterday. They celebrated up at the NASDAQ. That's what Jack was talking about, which I missed, and I'm sad I missed. But yesterday, July 9th, Real Brokerage celebrates its 10-year anniversary with another significant milestone, passing 20,000 agents. Now, at the beginning, one of the reasons we're covering this is we always cover when a company hits a milestone. It's not just because I happen to be at Real Broker, but any companies that hit big milestones like this, 100,000 agents, 80,000 agents, we've covered in the past. So they're now at 20,000 agents, which is interesting. They're one of the smallest companies, but they're always mentioned among the giants, which is wild. I think I think at the beginning of the year, one of my predictions was that they would hit 24,000, which seemed like a huge number at the time. And now it's 20,000 already, 6 months in. So we'll see if it gets there. Dave Woodson. What's up, Dave? He said, is this the new Be More? Yeah, this is. Now, he's over on Instagram, but we're still broadcasting on the same channel on YouTube and Facebook and all that stuff too. So subscribe. Hit that bell. Okay, let's go to... all right, so this one was just sent to me by Scap, the appraiser. And it's going to autoplay. So let me... now it's making me disable my ad block so I can see the article. Hold please. It didn't do that earlier. Refresh. Okay. Now I have to stop the autoplay. All right, so now I can share it finally. Great. All right, so you guys know who Cy Porter is? He is, you probably will when I say he's the inspector on YouTube that's kind of become famous for going real hard after home builders. And he says it's to educate home buyers. But Taylor Morrison is suing him and wants him to stop posting about them. So this is in Phoenix, Arizona. So Valley Home Inspector gained popularity for posting videos of his inspections on social media. He specializes in new construction, and his videos have led to hundreds of thousands of followers. Those same videos have led to this complaint. The complaint is stop posting videos on social media about Taylor Morrison. He said his response is, my number one focus is he wants people to understand new builds need inspections just as much as any other home. They don't just need an inspection. They need someone to find all the issues. Okay, so I'm going to rephrase this a little bit. I was first exposed to this guy when he was really bad-mouthing a builder. I mean, going after the builder, because the builder would not allow a home inspection until after the close of the property. And they wouldn't allow him to get on the roof because it was a certain type of roof. And if he didn't know how to walk on the roof, he could damage the roof. And so they would not allow him to get on the roof because he would point out, hey, this tile, it's a tiled roof, it's cracked. And they would say, well, you did it. So I don't think that's Taylor Morrison, but that's how I was first exposed to this inspector. So then I watched a couple of his videos, and it's not like a normal inspection that, I have a friend, Patrick Ellis, who's a great home inspector here. It's not like a video of you just showing something wrong with the property. He says, I am at this builder's property, and here's what's wrong with this house. And I see this all the time at this builder. And that's the kind of stuff he says. So he goes an extra step. Now in the news, if you click on this article by 12news.com, if you click on the news article, everything they show in the article is fairly tame. Like all of his TikToks that they're showing as examples is fairly tame stuff that's saying like, hey, this shouldn't look like this and this should go here. And he's not wrong on any of it. I don't think he's wrong on any. I think he knows what he's supposed to be doing. I think it's fine. The complaint is how he's doing it. So it's not what you say about how type of thing. So Taylor Morrison would like Cy Porter on behalf of himself and his companies to stop posting videos on social media about Taylor Morrison. They said that it's harassing, falsified, and bullying social media posts. So I'm anxious to see how this shakes out. It's not that a home inspector can't post videos. It's that maybe you can't post videos. What's the word? Not defaming. I mean, that is what they're going after, but like besmirching the builder. Maybe that's a good word for it. And that seems to be the main complaint. It's not that he's saying like, hey, you need home inspection on a new property, like check out these lugs that aren't all the way in the electrical box. That's fine. But when he goes the extra step and says, check out these lugs in the electrical box, I see this all the time with this builder, and this builder is doing this, and this builder is doing that. That's what their complaint is. So Taylor Morrison denied 12 News interview, but emailed him a statement saying, we want our customers and home shoppers to have faith in the care and quality we take in building their homes, and we absolutely allow them to hire a third-party home inspector for added peace of mind. Similar to any professions, licensed home inspectors are required to abide by codified rules of professional conduct. While we have no issue with the home inspection site porter conducts, we do believe his advertising through sensationalist social media postings violates the professional conduct standards set forth by the Board of Technical Registration, which licenses and regulates home inspections. So that's the complaint. It's not that he's doing the home inspection. It's not that he's posting it on social media, but it's the sensationalist social media, the crazy articles. You would not believe what this home builder is, that kind of stuff. And then he's naming the home builder. I think if he probably just kept the builder's names out of it and showed what he was doing, he would get the same amount of respect, right? I mean, I don't know why he has to name the builder. But Scap, you're the one that sent me this article. Are you available to chat? I want to hear what you have to say. What's up, Jan? Hey, Derek. Jill.
Yeah, I'm here. That just came. I mean, it came across because we were talking about it as appraisers in some of our groups and everything. I mean, I get it, and I can understand like kind of what you're saying. Maybe you don't name builders or things of that nature. But what was funny is as the story was going along, he was getting a lot of attention. So he was getting a lot of threatening, comments to posts and stuff. But one of them was that he joined Internazi, which is like the International Home Inspectors thing, and they actually were trying to go after his license. This home builder was trying to go after his license. And found it funny that when they brought it to the attention of the Internazi people or whatever for his license, the attorney that's works for Internazi basically told this builder, said, "Look, I'm 62 and 0 in court. So what do you want to do here?" And they kind of just went away. So they're trying to go different. They're going to different directions with the state and other things to try and get him to stop doing stuff. But yeah, it'll be interesting how it shapes out because, as an appraiser, I mean, I'll post pictures of houses, but I won't give addresses or give out specific information. I might just post a picture of a house, or I'll post pictures of FHA issues, things of that nature, but I'm not going to give out an address or an identifying factor or something like that for everybody to see and to know. I mean, that's not for me to post out there. So I mean, it is interesting how he goes about it. He names the builders, and I think that's kind of maybe where it's at. But I don't know. It's kind of interesting to see how it all pans out with him, and he seems to be getting a lot of support from people, but he's also getting some backlash here and there, but again, we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I don't think you can have it both ways. So, and what I mean is, I don't think you can say like every new construction is going to have issues, and every new construction needs an inspection. And also, look at how bad this builder builds homes because of the way this home inspection is going. Well, I thought every house needs a home inspection. I thought are you telling me that there's a builder out there that could do this perfectly that wouldn't need an inspection? Like the whole point of you being there is to point out the stuff that's wrong with it so that the buyer knows what's wrong with it and can fix it, so that the builder knows what's wrong with it and can fix it, so that everyone's making the appropriate decision. Like I don't think you can get mad at the builder for messing up and then turn around and say every new builder needs a home inspection because of everything they do wrong. Well, yeah, we know they do stuff wrong. That's literally why you're there.
Yeah, I think if you watch a lot of his videos or if you follow him on Instagram, he does get, in my opinion, gets a little carried away with things like a tile floor where he'll measure it or he'll lay something flat on it, and like one tile is like maybe like a very like a third of an inch or something like that, like a millimeter less than the other ones out there. So I think in some respects he gets a little carried away with things, but I mean he does point out a lot of big issues and a lot of the real issues that you should know as a homeowner. You should know that he's good at what he does. I will say that, but I think at the same time he does go a little overboard on things. So I think that's kind of where he gets himself. He's got himself into a little bit of trouble here with this. I mean, I wouldn't say trouble, but he's gained the attention of the builder and everything. But again, at the same time, every house should have a home inspection, regardless whether it's new or not new by a third party. You just don't want to go off of, just what somebody says. That's like being an appraiser and then having, sending out, a home inspector to go and put a value on your house, or just some random person to do that. So, I mean, I get it, but I think he does go a little overboard here and there. But, I mean, he's doing his job. I just feel like maybe he should just leave names and stuff out of it sometimes.
Yeah. I agree. And I know a couple of real estate agents that have gone hard after a builder because of specific things that they continue to do incorrectly and how they think that they're taking advantage of a consumer. I think that would be different. But I think there's some changes in the way he does it that could get him out of hot water and still retain the audience from that he's getting from basically the sensationalism in his post. All right.
Hey, Ray?
Yeah, go ahead, Jack.
I am so torn on this guy because he obviously is holding a grudge or got beat up on the playground or something, because he's definitely got a bone in his teeth when he does it, with a little bit of an arrogance to him. But at the same time, if the stuff that he's reporting on is any sort of a standard out there, I mean, we're doomed. I mean, the junk that you see that's being built en masse. I mean, fortunately, I'm not seeing it around here, but some of the stuff is crazy. So, I don't blame him in some ways, but you can see that he harbors a bit of a grudge to something or someone. His blue tape, I can't blame a builder for walking into a house with 3 rolls of blue tape all over the house in little dots, but at the same time, the fake stucco holes and the roof cracks and just it's like a kindergartner built the house with paper mache. It's pretty sad if that's the standard of new construction in these bigger developments.
Yeah, I would agree with your take on it. And can you imagine being the listing agent and you ask the other agent casually, like, who's the inspector? And they say that guy, and you just know, like, oh wow, it's gonna be this is gonna be a ride.
Well, maybe that's where the lawsuit could be. I don't know. Because you're the listing agent. I don't know, but there are people out there that complain about McDonald's all the time. So is it any different?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on the lawsuit, see what happens. As this, I feel like most of our coverage for the last 2 years have been lawsuits. So it's a very litigious industry right now. All right. So let's talk about home buyers. Change gears a little bit to talk exactly about what's going on in the economy. Home buyer opportunities appear to be opening up. That's a nice way of saying it. It's on Realtor.com. The market is an interesting point with rising inventory and lower demand, says NAR's chief economist. So when that happens, you would anticipate a huge drop in home prices, right? Well, let's take a look. More than half, more homes are for sale, yet home buyers don't appear to be in a rush. Pending home sales fell 2.1% in May and are down nearly 7% from a year ago, when home choices were much slimmer. The market's at an interesting point with rising inventory and lower demand, says NAR chief economist Lawrence Yun. Total housing inventory at the end of May was up 19% compared to a year ago. That's the largest existing, from the latest existing home sale report. I think that's one of the largest gains that they've had recently. Supply and demand movements suggest easing home price appreciation in the coming months. So it's not here quite yet. Median existing home sale priced in May surged to the highest price ever recorded, reaching $419,300. A drop in home sales last month may be in reaction to higher home prices and a surge in mortgage rates, which eclipsed 7% last month. Sales of newly built single-family homes fell 11.3% in May, reaching the lowest pace since November of 2023. All right, so what are we predicting here? Despite monthly blips, economists predict a robust housing market for the year. What? How is it? How is that? How is it robust, but you have additional inventory and lower demand, and yet they're predicting a robust housing inventory? Existing home sales forecast 2024 is 4.26 million units, up from 4.09 million units in 2023. So you're telling me more homes are going to sell this year than last year still? 2025, 4.9 million units. So it's going to go up again next year. Housing starts forecast 1.38 million, which is down from 2023. And in 2025, they think it's going to be 1.4 million. Median existing home price forecasts are continuing to go up. In 2024, 405,000, reaching a record annual high. That's up from 389,000 in 2023. In 2025, 412,000. What? So when your clients say, we're going to wait until prices go down, this is a wonderful article to send to them from nar.realtor. When are prices going to go down? Even though supply is high because of so many buyers backing up, home prices are continuing to increase. So this is where we get the this is where I got the video, the thumbnail idea. Here's the. I'm gonna. Well, it's uploading now. Hang on. My internet is. It never. All right, here we go. Bam. High on your home supply. It's got the green haze over a neighborhood for the audio listeners, and it says high on your home supply. So yeah, home prices are high. And at the same time, home prices are high. Supply is high because supply is not high enough to see home prices drop drastically. However, are you guys seeing the ability for people in your marketplace to get really good deals on listed properties? Because we are. We're seeing the ability to go in at or below list and ask for concessions, and our clients are getting it. So, I mean, you can't really have it both ways. You can't have a 2% interest rate and super low home prices unless there's just a glut of inventory that is just enormous, and it's not that way. So you can't have it both ways. If interest rates begin to go back down, and if it goes back down into the fives, then when it goes down into the fives, the run up of home prices is going to be historic again. It's going to be huge. So if you buy now and get a pretty good deal on it, then if rates go down, you can refi. If rates don't go down, you should not be in a property right now that you need rates to go down in order to buy. But if rates don't go down, home prices are going to continue to go up. So the bigger question I have for a home buyer is, how long do you want to wait until you live at the home you want to live? How much of your life do you want to give up living where you are before you live where you want to? That's the question. But you are starting to see an uptick in supply for a couple of reasons. One is buyers are backing up. Two is, as those buyers back up, more people have to move. So you have people around the country that are getting job changes, that are, having divorces or getting married, or, there's life changes that happen and people want to make a change. Hector from Miami says, yes, we are. So they are seeing their buyers getting good deals there too. So there's another article on CNBC that goes over this a little bit, and there's a good video with Orlick. What's her first name? Diana Orlick. And she does a really good job of explaining it. And the co-host, Joe, has no idea. It's so funny to watch him try to talk with her about housing, because he really has nothing, he doesn't follow it up with anything. It's really interesting. But anyone out shopping today knows that there's still precious little for sale. The housing market's just beginning to come out of its leanest few years in history. And that's the deal. This is why supply can grow so much. It's not that, let's say that there's 50% more inventory today. That sounds huge. But if there were only 10 houses, 50% more is 15. If there's historically 100 houses, then you say there's 50% more inventory. Home supply is drastically growing, but you're still way off from what you normally are. And that's the situation we're in. So that means that though supply continues to go up, inventory is going up, home prices are also still going up. I think it will cool some because it's not that drastic as the example I gave. Home prices are bound to cool some, but you're going to see home price gains slow. You're not going to see home price gains drop, or you're not going to see home prices drop. So the numbers are deceiving, however, due to the unprecedented dynamics of today's housing market. So we talked about this last week, where new home inventory is like at a 9-month supply. However, much of those new homes have not finished being built, and builders can kind of control that inventory when it is finished and when it is released. And the supply of existing homes is at 3.7 months supply. So a total, currently there's 4.4 months of supply. So that looks pretty good. It's still leaning towards the seller's market, but it looks pretty good. But in reality, of the homes that are actually available, that number is much lower. That supply number is lower. So, but supply is finally beginning to come back, but the gains are mostly in the new home market and not the existing, which, yeah. That's what we're seeing here too. It's not as drastic as some of the other bigger cities. I feel like bigger cities have a lot more on the new homes side of the equation that we do not here. Okay. Let me go to mortgage refi demand. This is the article that was released today. Mortgage refinance demand drops further. The part I really want to get into is the applications to purchase a home. So applications for a mortgage to purchase a home were increased 1% for the week, but were still 13% lower than the same week a year ago. So although inventory is up like 19%, the applications to purchase are 13% lower than last year. So purchase activity has picked up slightly, driven primarily by increases in FHA and VA applications, which is interesting because normally those are in the lower 1/3 or 2/3 of the market. All right. Let's see. I'm going to get to these pretty quick. The share of smaller home lots has reached a new high. Speaking of high, in with today's theme, lots are getting smaller. Oh, wait, I got a comment over in the YouTubes. Where'd it go? Elizabeth says, new homes in Charleston are the dominant player still in the Charleston area. Are new homes at 30%? That's what they're saying kind of around the nation, that new home sales make up about 30% of the transactions, which is high compared to what it is normally. So are your lots shrinking? 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we did an article. 40%, she said. Wow, that is high. 2 weeks ago, we did an article about how houses are shrinking. Lots are also shrinking. So the share of smaller home lots reaches a new high. A shift in speculatively built or spec homes towards smaller lots continued despite the pandemic-triggered suburban flight and presumed shift in preferences toward more spacious living. The steady rise in share of smaller lots reflect the unprecedented lot shortages confronted by home builders during the pandemic housing boom. Close to 2/3, 65% of the single-family detached homes in 2023 were built with lots under 9,000 square feet. That is wild. Elizabeth said they don't call them postage stamp size lots for nothing. That's true. Wow, 65% of people have yards smaller than 9,000 square feet. New home, which is less than 1/5 of an acre. So I'm sitting on 1/3 of an acre right now, which is kind of normal in my neighborhood. So that's insane to think of a 9,000 square foot lot for me. According to the Survey of Construction, the highest share on record reflects stark changes in the lot distribution over the last 2 decades. In 1999, when the Census Bureau started tracking these, less than half, 46% of for sale single-family detached homes were occupying lots of that size. Wow, the share of smaller than 7,000 square feet reached 40%. Only 28% of single-family detached spec homes were built on lots that size in 1999. Wow, lot distribution for new single-family detached homes. The blue graph is 2010 and the red graph is 2023. And we see under 0.16 of an acre is up to 40%. Over, let's see, where I'm in this bunch here. So in 2010, about 24% of lots were the size that I'm sitting on now, and about 18% are now built on that lot size. Above a half acre, only 9% of homes are built on above 1/2 acre. 14% of homes were built on a half acre in 2010. Very interesting. Let me see if there's any. No, that's all the graphs. And so what the other interesting thing about this, kind of going along with this, the pool party's over as Americans ease up on backyard upgrades. So during the pandy, it was a huge thing. Like, people didn't want to go to the public pool. They didn't want to go to the gym, or they couldn't go to the gym. And so a lot of people were like, well, we're going to put swimming pools in our house, and we're not going to worry about it anymore. So swimming pool installations were part of the home improvement frenzy that swept the country during the pandy. A national pool equipment distributor with roughly $11 billion in market valuation called Pool Corp said last week it expects new pool construction to fall by 15 to 20% this year. What? Christina Smallhorn joining the show. How late am I? A little. But we're just now talking about small yards and affordable housing. So you're right on time, really. If 2023 wasn't already considered a buy pool volume kind of disastrous, this last year's been worse. So if you have a friend in the pool industry, give them a hug, check on them, bomb a beer, see how they're doing. Because the pool party is over, it says. That's interesting, because we were just thinking about putting in one. Maybe you'll get better prices on stuff, on pools. Maybe you'll start to see that as construction materials get less expensive. Speaking of construction materials, let's talk about framing and lumber prices. I am super excited about this. And what I'm curious is if this will actually lead to less expensive new construction, or if this will just kind of slow the increase of new construction prices. We'll see. Because remember, we have to raise our prices because of how expensive lumber is. Well, it's below 400 per 1,000 board feet right now for 12 consecutive weeks. It's the longest stretch since 2019. It got up to 1,600 back in, when was that? Back in 2021? $1,600 per board foot. And now it is down to what are we at? That's the CME. Let me see. It's under $400 per 1,000 board feet now, which is wild. I'm super excited about this because I've had a fence that I've been wanting to replace for a while, and I got it quoted before the pandy. It's like $8,000. After the pandy, it's $15,000. So that's crazy. That's a crazy increase. And yes, I've checked with other providers. All right, the other thing that's happening, maybe easing up on the supplies and materials, is that permits to build apartments have dropped nearly 30% since the pandy. This article was just released yesterday on, Redfin? But we talked about it last week, so I'm not going to spend that much time on it, but we talked about the increase or the decrease in multifamily rents that's caused by the increase in multifamily inventory. Christina Smallhorn, great point. She says pools make higher homeowners insurance policies, just saying. Especially now with everything that's happening in insurance, that is a concern. Eric Marcus on Instagram says it's not the size of the lot, it's how you use it. It's sage advice. Okay, so builders obtain permits to construct 13 multifamily housing units for every 10,000 people in the U.S. So far this year, that's down from an average of 18 in the same periods in 2021 and 2023. That's a drop of nearly 30%. Multifamily building permits have dwindled, not because they're harder to get, but because builders are seeking fewer of them. Here are the reasons. Elevated interest rates have made it more expensive, and there are already near record number of multifamily units hitting the market due to a building boom in recent years. Which that's what we talked about last week. And due to the increase in inventory, they're seeing a decrease in rents, which make the properties less attractive for investment. And look at that. Here's the last article I'm going to cover. commercial side have hit an all-time high in San Francisco, despite Silicon Valley. So this is interesting because you would think that all the tech boom and everything that's happening in Silicon Valley and around the world will increase, not decrease, the number of office space. But it looks like a lot of people are still choosing to work from anywhere but the office. So real estate from Cushman & Wakefield reported the vacancies notched 34.5% in the second quarter, which is up from 33.9% during the prior 3-month period. A year ago, vacancy rate was 28.1%. So the struggle to fill office space comes as despite the effect that artificial intelligence boom is giving Silicon Valley new life. According to Cushman & Wakefield, the artificial intelligence companies have driven leasing activity over the past year. So a lot of AI hitting the tech cities. According to the firm's, companies based in the Bay Area absorbed 42.4% of the global generative AI venture capital funding in the first half of the year. About 21 of the top 50 deals took place in the Bay Area. I have to ask my friend, the Bay Area boys, about this. In an about face from a time when the city saw scads of people leave as concerns over the high cost of living and quality of life grew, the tech companies started to shed their workforce, overhiring during the pandy. The shift to remote work during the pandy also contributed to the exodus. So it looks like they're still reeling from the effects of the pandy and people working from anywhere. It's just not helping office vacancies. So where do you guys work? What's your office away from office? Do you go to Starbucks, local coffee shops, or do you actually have an office? And if you have an office, do you actually go to the office, or do you just, drop by and visit every now and then, or do you go there every single day? I want to know, who are my office people and who are my work from anywhere except the office people? Elizabeth says home office. Yeah. I am in my home studio currently. This is where I record podcasts and do Zooms and that kind of stuff. And I work at a lot of coffee shops because I just like it better. I think there was something that happened to me in college where I would start studying at Barnes & Noble, and the Barnes & Noble Starbucks. So I would go there, and I would go there with some friends, and we'd like essentially take over a corner and post up and just get very caffeinated, and we would get very focused. So there's something about being in a loud coffee shop that actually helps me focus, which sounds insane, but I love being in a loud coffee shop and hearing them like bang the thing and, all the equipment and all that kind of stuff. I love that because for whatever reason, that white noise, I can just focus in on what I'm doing. So it's difficult when it's completely silent. I have trouble focusing when it's completely silent. So I enjoy getting out of the office to go do work. But as a real estate agent, a lot of our work should be on site. We should be showing houses. We should be, meeting buyers and sellers. We shouldn't have a huge need for an office. Not as much as maybe a tech. Well, even someone in the tech industry, unless you're brainstorming or doing something, like I guess you would have a meeting, morning meeting, a brainstorming session. You talk. Well, even then they have tools to do brainstorming now from virtual. So the benefit of being there is what? Tactile. It's difficult to sell that. Elizabeth said, I love stopping by a loud coffee shop and taking my drink to the home office. Reiterating our home office. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that is the show for this week. So that's all I've got. Thank you so much for joining me. And be on the lookout. If I post about our contributors group, I'd love to have you guys join the contributors group. Scap in that contributors group is the one who sent me the article about the home inspector. So I'm always looking for cool articles about that to see what's happening. So thank you guys for contributing. Thank you so much for listening. And if you've made it this far in the podcast, I appreciate it. Please be sure you rate the pod, do all the YouTube subscriber things, and I will see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.